What's up, guys? I'm back, and it is episode 3 of drawing posters for video games. This is third episode. You said that. This drawing right here is for Bonnie's Bakery. Again, the videos for these will be in the description. And this is for Bonnie's Bakery. I wanted to draw her cooking. There were no suitable references for that, though. Since the gameplay is very simple, so I just went off of another picture and then did a thing. And I had to customize the colors, of course, because some of the colors were too close and didn't exactly fit well together. And in fact, I believe the countertop and the wall are actually the same color. It's just that you don't notice because they're separated by the floor. And it makes it not clash. But I didn't add the floor, so it clashed. But here we are, putting in some nice colors onto onto that meat, which is probably human panda. You just gotta go watch the video to understand, because it could be a lot of things. But here we are moving on to Bonnie herself. Her friend gave me quite a lot of trouble. But I got to a point where it was kind of less bad. It still doesn't look very good, but deal with it. So here I am trying to replicate her terrifying look into your eyes. She looks a lot cuter in her version than mine. But, it's fine. And then with just a little simple smile and some very simple eyebrows, I moved on to her headband. Her headband thing. Yeah. The rest for hair. And then down, I actually had to trim off some of her chin because it just looked a little bit too bulky and didn't match very well. Finally, I actually noticed a couple things about her design while doing this, such as the fact that her collar and tie is a carrot and leaves. I didn't notice that while playing the game, but I noticed it now. So, I don't know. I then went in with all the colors, which was pretty simple since most of the colors I reused throughout the design, so I can just copy them, and I did have to, of course, alter some of the colors, such as the fact that her hair is just white. Yeah, so I went in with some shading on the hair. Initially, I was just going to do the shading on the hair since the shading on the hair is the only shading in the original drawing. But I decided to add a little bit to the rest of the drawing as well. As you see, I'm doing the skin now. The skin shading. And now moving on to that beautiful bow, adding some lovely shade definition to it. And I really like how the bow turned out specifically because it just looks so clean now with all of the shading bits. I of course shaved under her arm, shaded under her arm because her arm is raised. And I just gotta give it that vision. Then I did the rest of her shirt with like the green leaves and the those stuff. And initially I thought that I was done, but I did decide to go back and shade this little bowl of dough. Then I was done, even though I did actually forget to shade the outside of the meat. Oh, and I'm also shading the knife and giving it a little bit of a shine. But we are done with this drawing, and that is the end of this first one. Look at Bonnie. Look at her smile. Look at her terrifying look in her eyes. And look at that probably panda meat or whatever. Anyway, here we go. Moving on to the Amanda the Adventurous drawing. The hair gave me some trouble because this is supposed to be me and my little avatar that I've been drawing throughout these series. which has kind of like messy hair, and it just didn't look very good from the back. But I got to where it looked decent. Here I am putting in all of the background stuff with this little nook that we see being used within the demo of the no, not the demo, the pilot episode of the game. Well, what is now the pilot episode. And I decided to draw in all the characters in a little bit of the scene inside of the TV so that you'd know what was going on. And here I am adding in the tapes. And they were pretty simple. And of course, I had to draw in that large writing that I am ignoring. Of course, this isn't actually in the game, but I wanted to bring in that aspect of the game into this. Of course, the warnings that we see in other tapes. And then I started coloring. First I colored myself, then I started coloring the background. As you can see, I had to change all the colors because they were just not looking good, and it's because those colors were already accounting for the shadows, and I wasn't going to add the shadows yet, I was going to add them later. So I had to alter all of the colors, basically. And here I am, putting in the colors for the TV and our TV show here. I had to do this off camera because of some incidents, but then I started shading. I decided to do a blue shade, and I do put it as a multiplier later, but for now it's just a ton of wispy stuff. And I'm blending it out now with my Blendy Blend tool, trying to make it smooth so that it'll look good as a shadow. And of course, I laid the opacity down just a little bit because it was a little bit too harsh for my liking. Then I did add a couple more harsher shadows. And finally, I'm going in with a back shadow because I'm being lit from the front with the TV. So I'm just filling all of that in. It's very painstaking because I can't exactly just bucket tool it. I'm probably gonna bucket tool the hair, but I was too far gone to realize by the time I noticed that I could have done that. And I already did one other thing, which is a claw. You'll see it be added in the final one. That was already added before I did the drawing. So, but that is the end of the video. If you liked the video, then destroy that like button. And if you liked me, then kill that subscribe button. Goodbye!